Good morning, Witta's Wolves. It is Thursday, April 16th, and where in the world is Mrs. Witta this morning? Well, I'm in a state that has more shoreline than any other state than Alaska. It has an upper peninsula and a lower peninsula, which is joined by a long bridge. It is known as the Wolverine State, and Henry Ford is famous in this state. What state is Mrs. Witta in? Where in the world is Mrs. Witta this morning? Also, I mentioned that there was a similarity between all the states that we have, where I have been since I started to be in states. And Jana guessed what the similarity is. I'm not going to say it yet, because I'm going to see if anybody else has put a guess in. But Jana, you are correct. So today's Thursday. Today in math, in reading, and in science, you have an assignment that is to be completed and is to be put on your Class Dojo profile. Each of those assignments are going to be for a test grade, so you want to use your very best effort to write complete sentences. I know in science you're going to be writing, so make sure you're writing in complete sentences. In math, you're going to be solving two problems. So go ahead and get those solved. And in English, you are going to complete what needs to be done for your test there. Yesterday you had some daily work that was due, and on Tuesday you had some daily work that was due. If it says that you are to turn in something to the teacher, then that is something that must be turned in for your daily grade. Okay, keep up the great work. Remember, if you've not gotten on iStation in a while, we need to be doing that about 15 minutes a day. So make sure you're getting that in somewhere in your day. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started with our freckle juice. So we are on chapter 4, and here is Andrew. Looks like his stomach's not feeling too great, and here's Mom checking his head. Pretty soon something happened all right. Andrew turned greenish and felt sick. His stomach hurt. At 4 o'clock, Mrs. Marcus came home. "Yoo-hoo, Andrew! Where are you?" she called. Andrew heard her, but he couldn't answer. He was too weak. He made a small noise. "Andrew Marcus, is that you?" she called. Andrew heard her. His mother stood in the doorway of her bedroom. "What are you doing in here? I told you to play outside. And why didn't you change your clothes? Didn't I say to change your clothes?" Andrew made another noise. Mrs. Marcus looked at his face. "Andrew, you're green. Absolutely green. Are you sick?" Andrew nodded. He was afraid if he opened his mouth, he could lose the freckle juice. "What hurts?" Mrs. Marcus asked, feeling his forehead. Andrew moaned and held his stomach. "Oh my, appendicitis. You must have appendicitis. I'm going to call the doctor. No, I'd better just drive straight to the hospital. No, I'll call the ambulance." Andrew shook his head, but his mother didn't notice. She said, "Don't move. I'm going into the kitchen to phone. I'll be right back." Andrew rolled around, moaning. Mrs. Marcus came back to her bedroom in a hurry. "Andrew Marcus, I just seen that mess in the kitchen. Did you or did you not make something or eat it? And eat it? Uh-oh, he forgot to clean up." Now she knew. Well, he didn't care. His stomach was killing him. "Well, young man, I'm surprised at you. Surprised! Mrs. Burroughs offered you milk and cookies and you refused. Then you came home and made yourself an I don't know what, and scared me half to death thinking you had appendicitis. I always thought you were more sensible. Andrew, I just can't believe it." Andrew closed his eyes. "Now, young man, you are going to bed." Andrew thought that was the best idea he'd heard in a long time. Mrs. Marcus gave him 2 spoonfuls of pink stuff that tasted like peppermint. Then she tucked him into bed. Maybe the freckles would come out while he was sleeping. Right now, he didn't care much if they ever came out. He hated Sharon. She'd done it on purpose, just to get his 50 cents. He'd show her. She'd be sorry someday. He drifted off to sleep. He had terrible dreams. A great green monster made him drink 2 quarts of freckle juice 3 times a day. Every time he drank it, the monster got freckles, but Andrew didn't. Andrew woke up sweaty. His stomach still felt funny. His mother gave him 2 more spoonfuls of that pink stuff, and he fell fast asleep. The next day, Andrew stayed home from school. He only looked in the mirror once. No freckles! He wasn't surprised. At noon, he drank some hot tea. He wasn't ever going back to school. Sharon wasn't going to see him without freckles. She thought she was so great. Well, she wasn't going to get the chance to laugh at him. No, sir. But the following day, his mother woke him up and sang, "Time for school. Rise and shine. Don't forget to wash your neck and behind your ears." She pulled the covers off him. "I'm not ready to go to school today," Andrew said. "I'm never going to school." Again, he hid his head under his pillow. So, I've got a school dropout in 2nd grade. We'll have to do something about that. Here are your clothes. I want to see you up and dressed before I count to 15, or you're going to take 3 baths a day, every day, for the next 10 years. Andrew got dressed. He ate a breakfast bun and drank some milk, but he couldn't let Sharon get away with it. He had to do something. Here's some pictures of his dream. And of him not wanting to get out of bed. And that's the end of chapter 4. So we'll find out what happens tomorrow. Have a great Thursday, a great day of learning. And I loved seeing you guys yesterday. I meant to say that. So thank you for joining us on Zoom. And we'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye.